Talking East Coast DNA, back at the apartment studio. And today I've got another Nova Scotian musician that's been making the rounds. So welcome, Tyler.
Thanks, Darcy.
So I did just say that you've been making the rounds, but like I've been seeing you out on the road like quite a bit over the last number of years. But I do know that a lot of people that knew your name initially a few years ago would probably have known of you from TV.
Yeah, they would have known it for a while and then forgotten it, and now maybe they're starting to know it again.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I get into. And we chatted just briefly before we get started here too about like kind of the format here. I normally dive really into like the beginning years and get in, and there's a lot for you because you go back quite a bit. I kind of want to dive into it a little bit, but kind of pick at a few things.
Sure.
Feel free to elaborate anything if you wish.
I'll see what I can remember. I'll see what I can remember.
So the Canadian Idol appearances that you had would have been like 20 years, it's over 20 years ago now.
Well, not go easy on me. It's only been like 17.
Okay, all right, fair.
Going on 18.
Yeah.
I know I look like it's been 20 years, but
And so at that point, you would all like you were already enough of a musician that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go try out to be on this television show. So, and you were talented enough that you were on air for a bit of the show. Like you were an integral part of the beginning of that in Canada for sure.
yeah. Well, I wasn't gonna go on audition because TV wasn't really my thing. I was just a musician and small town Cape Breton guy, and they brought the auditions to Halifax, and I happened to be up there at that time with my uncle, just hanging out in the city anyway. And it was the first year they allowed guitars, and everybody was just saying, Tyler, you got to go try out. I'm like, nah, screw that, And then if they're like, come on, they let you bring instruments this year, so that was that was the icing on the cake. I said, all right, well, if I can bring my guitar, fine. The rest is history.
And so I do know of you being from that area, like you said, Cape Breton boy, but I also know that I've got the Andre Petitpas hat on, and he's been on the show several times. I do know that some of your early years overlap some of his early years more so when he would have been the odd bit.
Yes.
I don't know that era. I was having babies and changing diapers at the time when you guys were all rocking out at the bars together. So
yeah, no, I got the change in diapers thing. I was doing that a few years after you, but no, Andre and I go way back. I've known Andre since probably. I started hearing his name around 2011, 12, probably. I heard about this young fella from, Monastery area or wherever he's from there, making some waves and this and that. And then I ended up, moving home from Calgary in 2012. I was out there for 3 years, and I had put together a trio with her. And I called it LA Speedway after my old trio from Cape Breton, 2007. It was kind of a revamp of that, same material, but three of us, and we actually moved home, the three of us from Calgary. Ben Kelsey, he was drummer. He was from Digby. Him and I met out in Calgary. And he actually ended up passing away in a motorcycle accident in 2015. But Ben and I and Mike Gillis we called him, we had the trio called LA Speedway, and we had a gig at the Wakagama Lines Den, and Andre Petitpas and the Odd Bit opened up for us.
okay.
And shortly after that, me and Benny, we were about, the two of us were dating. We had two sisters that we were dating, and they were all living together. It eventually turned into the Jerry Springer Show.
Yeah.
So, because of the relationships, him and I were still tight at heart, but we kind of separated for a bit, and ended up parting ways for a little while, and he ended up starting to play with the Odd Bit.
Yeah.
So Ben started playing with the Andre and Travis and the boys. Yeah, so that's kind of where we go back to, and then eventually Ben and I started playing again, and then he passed away shortly after that. But and then they kind of took the wind out of my sails, and I didn't really have it. I didn't really have that rock and roll. Well, of course, I always had the rock and roll thing in me, but I kind of went from like hard rock, bluesy, electric guitar to like singer-songwriter mode. Picked up the acoustic, started doing a lot of that. Put together another band, which is still kind of the band I have now,
Okay.
and kind of that singer-songwriter Americana kind of material. But yeah, that's kind of where me and Andre started. And he's a great dude, and I love that guy.
And I mean, obviously, with the connection of a shared band member, I knew just enough from listening to both of you talk about old days,
Yeah,
but I wasn't quite sure what
yeah,
all the connection was there. So coming out of that, so we're talking like about 10 years ago, you have a band that you're doing the singer-songwriter thing, and you have support people when you want to do a full band act.
yeah,
So I've definitely seen you perform a couple times over the years, mostly around Pictou County, but a few times up in the city as well.
yep,
So Halifax, for those people that aren't from Nova Scotia,
yep,
there's more than one city in the world apparently.
yep. Up in the mainland there, yeah.
Yeah, I had a few emails come in and people were like, "There's more than one city." But anyways, where do you call home these days?
Uh, I'm based in Porter's Lake
Okay.
right now, which is great. You know, I'm from rural Cape Breton, Inverness County. Like, grew up between Mabou and Lake Ainsley, and then I lived in Halifax for a year, then Calgary for 3 years, and then back to Halifax, back and forth from Halifax to Dartmouth from like 2012 to till about last summer, and then I moved out to Porter's Lake. And you know, I've enjoyed the rush of the city, and I always love the action and stuff. You know, Cape Breton, country boy at heart, but you know, love the city and whatnot. But now that I'm hitting my late 30s and stuff, the living in Porter's Lake is really nice. It's kind of quiet,
Yeah.
and it's kind of bringing me back to my roots a little bit. And I'm right on the lake. I got the yard. It's great for the kid. I can have a barbecue. I have to run around the yard, my underwear, screaming, flailing my arms. You know, no problem. But you know, not that I would do that, but it's great. Yeah, Porter's Lake. It kind of reminds me of growing up a little bit. And it's only 20 minutes from the action, so
Yeah.
not too bad.
And so now that you're out there doing that on a regular basis, which you have many years behind you now, I've noticed probably the last year, maybe a little bit longer, I could see where you're starting to focus in different areas to kind of refine your image a little bit and kind of focus in a little bit on what you're doing for your sound. And you alluded to the band. It's kind of, you still have some of the same people around you. So like you've been kind of refining that support for you as well. So who do you have as your backup these days?
So the newest member of the band is Dan McDonald. He's from Truro. Great dude. Great drummer, great musician. He joined the fold about a year ago. You know, I've had nothing but bad luck with drummers over the last 10 years. It's just been a revolving door. Friggin' drummers, right? But
It's, yeah, you're not the only person that says that. It's kind of funny.
But no, you know, I've had some great guys working with me, and most of them are, you know, they're great players and stuff, but they're playing with 10 different bands, and you know,
Yeah.
they'll jump in for a couple of rehearsals, do a show, you know, jump in for rehearsal, record something or whatever. But none of them was really, I couldn't nail anyone down.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I want because I really want to. So Dan kind of joined the fold last year. My buddy Noah Ty, works at the Folklore Center. He's a great singer-songwriter himself. Noah Ty, he's from this area, I think, New Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, him and Garrett Mason and Dan McDonald, they go back. They grew up together and stuff. So Noah suggested Dan to me. So Dan's been with us for about a year, and then the rest of them have been with me the whole time. The oldest member of the band is Nick Patterson, bass player from the Valley there. He also plays with Town Heroes and a bunch of guys. But he's been with me since 2014. He actually used to play with Benny and I for a bit. And then I've got Sam Fraser from Truro on keys. She's been with me since 2015, since my Make It Through release show at the Seahorse. And then Adrian Dunn on electric guitars. And I've got my pretty lady, Caden Saunier. She's back up for me. And my really good friend, Wendy Martin from Flat Rock, Newfoundland. She's been singing backup with me for a long time as well. So when we're in full capacity, there's 7 of us, but we can do a 5-piece, or I could do a duo or solo, whatever.
That's one of the things that, I mean, it's not unique to our region, but I think our region uniquely has a high volume of people that are able to do that, like the flexibility to have, you know, tonight you're performing at Shoebox
Yeah,
with yourself.
yeah,
And then you could have the big full showcase, full band with you as well. So not everyone can do that out there, but I do know in the East Coast we seem to have a higher volume of people that seems to be how you make your bread and butter. You have to be flexible.
Yeah, some people, they're comfortable having the support behind them, and the band kind of fills up the space, and and kind of gives them that confidence that they need, and then other people, they're good on their own. You throw 4 or 5 people behind them, and they don't know, and they don't know what to do because they're not used to improvising in a group setting.
Yeah.
And then there's guys that can do everything. I mean, I can do all. I can play in the band or solo, but I'm not much of a dancer.
No, you could work on that. I've seen you up there. One thing that you do have is the stomping.
I've got the stomping down,
Yeah.
and I've got the what we call the Mullendore flail down. The arms going right,
Yeah.
flailing around.
So I mean, you have your signature moves. That's all you're
Yeah.
gonna need. You can market that.
Then there's the hair flip. That's the classic from dating back to 2007.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. And now I know, as far as kind of that focusing and branding and everything too, that the band having a band name, is that a new thing or?
Yeah, well, I was in different bands over the years. Like I said, I had the trio there, LA Speedway, and that was a totally different animal. And then I kind of just went on kind of a solo singer-songwriter kind of venture where I was doing the kind of Americana singer-songwriter thing. And these guys have been backing me up as my band, do it with a band, do it solo, whatever it calls for. And, they've been my band for quite a while. They've stuck by me. They've been putting up with my bullshit for a long time. And we have a group chat, our band chat or whatever. But a year ago, somebody suggested maybe we should add a band name. And I thought, yeah, you guys are definitely worthy of a band name by now.
Yeah.
It's just like so many band names just sound so stupid. You know what I mean? I'm like, my name is already weird enough as it is. And it's kind of a weird last name, and it's the logo looks kind of cool, but so I started thinking, and I wrote down like 4 or 5 different names, and I came up with a name, and I think I'm just about to pull the trigger on it, but it's the Backbone. That's kind of been sticking with me for a bit, and
I like it.
Usually the shitty ones, they stay in my head for a couple of days,
Yeah.
and they're gone, but this one's been kind of bouncing around up there with my couple of marbles for about a year now. So, and it looks good on print. So just kind of finalizing the logo now.
Yep.
And I think that when we go as a full band, we'll probably start using that handle. Yeah, so Tyler Mullendore on the Backbone, maybe.
So big plans for 2025, but coming out of 2024, towards the end of the year, you had a new release.
Yeah, my actually crazy to think, I feel like I should have 4 albums out by now.
Yeah.
With all the material that I've written and everything I've done over the years. But I finally got my ducks in a row and released my debut EP, Time Heals Everything. 6 tracks on there, and released that on November 21st. I released 2 singles and 2 videos leading up to that as part of the campaign. Released a single and a video in August, Living the Dream. I released another single with the lyric video first week of October, called She's a Storm. And then I released a 3rd focus track, they call it, I guess, with the album on November 21st with the video. That was called Mama Cry. And then there's 3 other tracks to go on the album, and that's on all streaming platforms. And when I get some more lunch money together, I'm going to get some... I guess it'd be more like vinyl money, but get some vinyls and try to flip some of those.
Cool. That sounds exciting.
Vinyl.
Yes. So now, in order to support expanding into something like vinyl, you need, like you say, the lunch money.
Yeah.
So for 2025, do you have a lot of plans to be performing live?
I've applied to about 20 different festivals for 2025. As per usual, I need to turn the hippie rock star button off for a little while and go out west and make some money like a real guy, because I'm at the end of the day I have a day job like most people, and I'm just trying to make that hoping that someday I can make that transition. But for now, I still spend half my year usually out in Alberta working.
Okay.
So I'll head out there sometime soon, probably February, March, and then I'll be gone until probably summertime. So I'm kind of trying to line up a bunch of festival dates for the summer.
Yeah.
And I actually, went back into the studio last week and started tracking drums and bass for 4 new tracks. I can't decide if it's going to be a 4-song EP or if I'm going to just make that a full LP. I might just do an EP so that I can kind of snap it out quick,
Sure.
and just keep things going. But I've got 4 new tunes I'm working on, 2 of them of which I'm planning on being singles and videos, and they're feeling, I feel pretty good about the last album, and I'm feeling even way better about these tunes. So
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
yeah, so I'm really happy to be back at the studio doing that. So yeah, just kind of pick away at the recording. I hope to have, if I have the album completely done, as far as recording and production wise by the end of this year, I'll be pretty happy. And then I'm going to be applying to a bunch of funding streams, a bunch of grant applications, as far as getting funding for marketing and promo. I'll try to get the album done on my own dime, and then I'll need some funding for.
Yeah.
So if you spend 10 grand on an album, you might as well spend 15 on the promotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Some people don't realize that how much effort there is behind
it's
something.
all in the promotion, man.
Yeah.
You could put out a crap album and then spend 100 grand on promotion and get somewhere with it, right?
Yes,
But
absolutely.
there's also a lot of garbage you can put your money into and go get nowhere with it too. Like you got to be definitely got to hone in on the organic side of it too. But you got to have some money to put into it. So that's why I was digging through my change can there to get gas money to get down here tonight.
Yeah. I believe it's. So when you are working out west, I know typically jobs like that mean that you're working quite hard. So does it afford you any downtime to pull the guitar out and perform while you're out there as well?
Well, unfortunately, I don't do a lot of it while I'm out there. I always bring the guitar with me, and I might get an hour here and there. Sometimes I'll write lyrics in my head while I'm working or whatever.
Yeah.
And then write them down and kind of have something for later in the bank. But I work 12-hour days, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. For 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Out there, so it's kind of like go time when I'm out there, and I work really long hours, a lot of days straight, for 2, 3, 4, 2, 3 months, and then I can come home and I have time to work on music. That's what I like about seasonal work.
Yeah.
I don't have to do like a 9 to 5 thing every single day of my life. It's like go really hard for 3 months, come home for a couple months, work on music, go back out, go really hard for 3 months. So it works for me. It gives me some time to work on music, but like I said, I would take a huge pay cut, as long as I could pay the bills and do music full time.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that someday I can make that transition into full-time music,
So I'm also wondering, and you've probably thought about this before, but I don't always ask this question. In your situation where you have been doing this for a while and you do have that seasonal work, what kept you on the East Coast all these years? Like, you do have family, so I can appreciate that. That's a big reason why I'm here too.
Yeah.
But obviously East Coast has a thriving music scene too. So is there anything specific that kept you here as far as your musical career?
It's just the people, man. Like the people, the family, the place. Like, you can't beat the East Coast. And as much as I'm not going to get into like politics and a lot of little silly things that kind of annoy me about home.
Yes.
But, that's everywhere you go. But overall, there's no place like home, and East Coast beats all, in my opinion. And, I've got some of my best friends are from Alberta, and I've spent half my life in Alberta, and I love a lot of things about Alberta too, and, they tell you how they feel out there, and nobody, that's the end of it,
Yeah.
There's so I like that because I was gifted with a lack of a filter. But no, it's Alberta's paid my bills, and it's made it possible for me to be able to come back here and enjoy the East Coast and music. If it wasn't for that working in Alberta, I'd probably be living under the McDonald Bridge or something right now.
Yeah.
I'm one step, I'm not too far behind those guys, it's not getting any easier out there. So working in Alberta kind of allows me to be able to keep the lights on and keep the music and for sure. Living here on the East Coast, which is, like I said, this is home for me. It's the people, you can't beat the people from the East Coast,
So for people out there that are being introduced to you for the first time that want to support you, aside from the live shows, is there a way to pay for the album aside from Spotify streams?
Yeah, I've got a Bandcamp
Right.
page. You can go on there and pay for it there if you like. I believe you can pay for it on. I'm not sure how all that works.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but iTunes, I think you can pay for it too. Um, yeah, and like I said, I'll have vinyl at some point,
Yeah.
and that'll be on order. Online. I've got to figure out my online store. I'm still working on figuring that out. I've got a nice lady who's pretty nifty with all that stuff. So he even helped me with my website and storefront and all that. And
Perfect.
I got to wrap my head around TikTok somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but
Yeah, I'm kind of, for anyone out there that's following the East Coast DNA TikTok, over the last year, I've acquired over 100 new subscribers,
Nice.
whatever, but I haven't posted a single thing in that amount of time. So I'm sorry. I'll post something at some point. Same thing. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with it.
I mean, apparently these days it's just us old guys just got to get into it. We just got to jump in, get our feet wet,
Yeah,
because like apparently what they're looking for now on TikTok is basically the same thing as Instagram Reels.
yeah,
If you get some consistency going with your TikTok and just post, could be twice a week, 3 times a week, 7 days a week, as long as you keep consistent,
yeah.
then eventually that algorithm will kick in, is what I understand. So I've got to get my shit together and jump in on the TikTok thing here. But I've been kind of working the Instagram and the Facebook for a few years,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling pretty good about that. My numbers have gone up a bit over the last year with these releases and these videos, and yeah, just keep plugging away and keep reading articles and watching tutorials and talking to young bucks who are good at social media. That's
Yeah,
that's kind of what I do.
there's a lot of people out there that like to talk about it now too, so it's good. Especially, I know that you're out there in some of the same circles as me, floating around talking to some of the same people I do. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of knowledgeable people out there willing to help. So it's great. It's another sign of a thriving music scene that we have right now. So aside from performing later tonight down at the Shoebox Cantina, you brought a guitar along as well, so were you looking to play maybe something from the new release?
Yeah, I can play something from the album for sure.
Perfect. Maybe we'll take a quick little break here. It's a little warm despite it being the middle of winter, so we'll get ourselves a little water or something,
Sure.
and we'll get you set up with the guitar here for a minute.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, here's a tune called Mama Cry off the Time Heals Everything EP. Released this song on November 21st. It's got a nice music video. Check it out on YouTube. It's about real life stuff. What's the point? What's the use? You're throwing yourself away. Gotta get what you don't use. And another night turns into day. You're old enough to know better, but too young to die. So I'm writing you a letter, 'cause I don't wanna see your mama cry. No, 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 I don't wanna see your mama. I don't wanna see your mama. I don't wanna see your mama cry. Dry the blinds and let some sunshine in. Open a window and feel
I said it once more, you know, I said it a million times. It'll make a man go crazy. So quit while you're ahead, it's only making you go blind. I don't wanna have to call you baby, see your mama cry. Thank you.
All right. And we're back. Thank you for that. I think the neighbors may actually appreciate it because I do know a couple of them over there, and a couple next door are relatives of another guest that was on here doing the same thing not that long ago. So I lucked out. I have cool neighbors.
I'd hate to be the reason that you were evicted.
Yeah, no, never. So you're off to Shoebox here to perform this evening, and then what's your next live date? Anything in the immediate future?
Nothing in the immediate future.
We'll be getting ready to probably take off soon.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to take off. I was entertaining, booking some stuff. I might be back here in Pictou County, first weekend of March, but it's kind of a tentative date. I don't like booking too much into February with my work schedule coming up, but as I said, I also don't want to saturate the market. Pay too much. That's just my fancy way of saying no. I don't have anything booked, but I will. You'll be the first one to know when I do.
Yeah, definitely let me know. And for those people out there that want to kind of follow along on their own, besides follow along with East Coast DNA, they can follow you, as you mentioned, Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook. I've got the YouTube account, lots of stuff up on there. All of those are, / Tyler Mullendore. And I have Spotify, all the streaming sites. I'm on there. Check out the new album.
And kudos to the music videos, because I know artists are back and forth on it. You have to like them. Like you're not doing a music video to make money.
No,
you might get some different eyes on your material, but you have to like music videos in order to do them. And I like seeing them.
Yeah,
so
I'm big on music videos, but they're kind of a little bit of a thing of the past. Yeah, somewhat, but they're still cool as hell. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we gotta keep them out there. So the next generation coming up is looking for them, so that we keep making more. So
yeah, it's good to put a kind of a movie to the story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, thanks a lot for having me, man. And
yeah, I appreciate you taking time. I know it's a busy day when you got to do sound checks and everything too. So
you're fine.
I appreciate you taking the time and driving up here when you have that gig. And for everyone out there, as I mentioned before, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The regular format podcast that some people do listen to, I've held off releasing these interviews on there for a little bit because there's going to be a new audio format that I'll be releasing that kind of recaps monthly.
Okay.
So anyone that was following us on Spotify, I didn't forget about you. There will be new content, but it will be unique. So subscribe on YouTube and on Spotify. And I'll see all of you out there, and we'll keep an eye out for Tyler in the future as well.
And I will say that we do have a booking this summer coming up at Relics.
Oh, amazing.
Relics Festival. So if I make it back from out west in time, I will see you guys there.
Well, you're going to see me there too, and
Yes.
we'll talk when we stop recording here because I just got word that I'll be at that event too. So
Awesome, man. Yeah.
everything's shaping up perfectly.
Cheers, buddy.
All right, thank you, and thanks to everyone else out there.